welcome back to my channel. Some of you really enjoyed the fleece tissue cover that I made this past weekend using this Dollar Tree fleece scarf. Just love that buffalo check like everybody is this year. What I failed to mention in the video was that it only took 1/3 of the scarf, so you could actually get 3 of those tissue covers out of one scarf. But I decided to take my scarf and do something a little different, and it's going to be a little vintage craft using these styrofoam cones. We're going to cover the cones with some folded felt. I remember seeing these as a child. We called them quilted trees or something like that, but we're going to use the buffalo check, and I think it'll be so cute. Now, you have to cover the bottom of your cone just to give it a finished look. So I just traced my cone on some black felt and with some chalk, and I'm going to cut it about 1 inch bigger and then just pin it to the bottom of my cone. And then these are my squares. The squares do not have to be absolutely perfect, but about 2.5 inch squares are ideal, and what we're going to be dealing with is just the points that creates when we get it folded, but I'll give you a better look at that in a minute. Now, to top off our little Christmas trees, you could use a variety of things. A little star ornament, a pom-pom that you have. I decided just to make some little yarn pom-poms because I had some black yarn, and most people know how to make them, but if you don't, I just wound it up on my 2 fingers 75 times and tied it off and clipped the loop, and that was it. And that's how I made these little small pom-poms, and then just kind of give it a haircut to even up some of the long strings. So I'm going to make 1 for each top. So the first thing I need to do is go ahead and cut out my bottom felt about 1 inch bigger and pin it to the bottom of my cone. There's no right or wrong way. I just cut out my circle a little bigger than the bottom and turned it up and pinned it on all 4 sides, and then in between the pins I just kind of pleated it and pinned it. The more you pin, the less little puckers you have, but you know, just do the best you can, and that way your bottom will look good because the rest of it will be covered up. I also wanted to mention these little pins are sold at Walmart. You get like 200 for a couple dollars. These are actually satin pins. That's the name of them. But as long as they're, you know, they have a little bit of head on them, it will do just fine. And I also need to mention that the cone size I'm using is a 9 by 3 7/8. I just lucked up and acquired these thrifting, and so it worked out perfect. Okay, we are now ready to start our first row on the bottom and work our way up. Now here is my square, and all we're doing is we're going to fold it diagonal and then fold it again. And that's when I said that when you're cutting your squares, they do not have to be absolutely perfect, but try to get them as square as you can. But this is the main focus, is this little point right here. And we also make notice that we're doing them all with our fold on the left, or you know, just as long as you're uniform with it. All right, the first row you're going to have your point hang over just a little bit, and then you're going to put a pin in each corner. Just like that. And you see my point is hanging over just a little bit, okay? Now I'm going to go all the way around until I meet back up. And you may have to adjust your pins a little bit. You know, if you see that, you know, you've got a little gap here when you get to the end, you may have to overlap your triangles just a little bit just to make it fit, because then when you do your next row, you'll do the same thing, but you'll get a feel for it once you get started. Okay, let me show you my first row, and that's what I mean by, like, there's my fold. Each of my triangles are identical going all the way around. And so right here, this was my last little triangle, is overlapped just a little bit, but it worked out fine. Not enough to where I would need to shift them. And also, you know, if you don't use buffalo plaid, you know, just make sure that your bottom fabric kind of coordinates with whatever you use, because it will show a little bit. So now what we're going to do is the same thing, but our points are going to be covering the pins. Where that meets right there, we don't want our point to go any longer than that. We're just going to stagger them all the way around. Okay, I want to show you how I've started my second row. Like I said, that little tip is just hiding my pins. Set it right over the pins. So I think you get the idea now. I'm just going to go ahead and work my way around until I get to the very top. Okay, I decided to catch you up where I'm at now. You know, I decided to go ahead and cover the tip of my cone with a little of that black felt I had, just so that when I do put my pom-pom on there, you know, it'll just all blend in. 1, 2, yeah, I actually will, you know, have 3 sets of pin areas, and that's where my points will go. And then I'm going to pin I'm just going to take a pin. Of course, you could use hot glue. I'm going to pin my pom-pom on top. I'm going to finish it out and show you my finished tree. All right, here is my little buffalo fleece Christmas tree. I'm filming at night here and my lighting might be a little off, so I hope you can see it. But just love the way it turned out. I may need to tweak a few of my little triangles. I think it would be adorable to hot glue some little buttons around on the tree as ornaments. How cute would that be? I just stuck it on this candlestick to show you, but I think I would love to make some with different colors of fleece. Variegate the different colors of green. That would be so pretty. But I want you to know that it took 1 full Dollar Tree scarf, or it takes 60 2.5-inch squares. Fleece is very inexpensive. If you just go buy 1/3 to 1/4 of a yard, you will have plenty to cut your squares. So I hope you'll take this idea and make it your own. I appreciate you watching. Merry Christmas crafting. Bye-bye.